As a disclaimer, I do not support nor condone the harassment of the creator because of personal opinions on their creations. These reviews are created for the purpose of giving my opinions on these characters, along with giving constructive criticism to help the creator in the future. As such, the level of artistic ability is not included in my review, and only the design and story of the character. Thank you very much. Hey guys, it's me Zimzilla, and I'm back again finally after a long overdue break. And also, if I'm gonna be talking weird, it's because I got my wisdom teeth removed. They hurt. I'm on ibuprofen, so they don't hurt right now. But that's beside the point. Today, I am finally doing another OC review. Yes, I am back to doing OC reviews because, ironically enough, I had a bunch of people who asked me to do OC reviews, and a lot of people I really respect. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't believe you thought my opinion mattered that much that you would ask me to do a review of a character. Oh man, I feel so nice right now. But that's beside the point. Today I'll be going over Tyros by the Angry Kaiju guy, so I will be doing a nice little review for him. And I once again thank him for coming to me on my DeviantArt and asking if I could do a review for his character. So let's get into it. Now let's move on to Tyros' design. Tyros is big, bulky, red, and horny. Yes, I went there. But yes, as this picture right here, the encounter by Angry Kaiju Guy compared with Elasmo Giga. Elasmo Giga is a lot more sleeker and leaner. And of course, Elasmo Giga is a sea monster, while Tyros is a genetically created super weapon of sorts. And I'd say the narrative understanding that we're supposed and what we're supposed to get from this character, I think, is conveyed well within Tyros' design. And I'd say, oh my goodness, that design is beautiful. And so if I was to compare it to like any dinosaur, I would say kind of like any Allosaur, Giganosaurus. Of course, like it doesn't look like any real dinosaur because dinosaurs don't stand up on two legs like that. They stand horizontal. But I'd say overall the design does remind me a little bit of classic Allosaurs and dinosaurs of that kind. And I'd say the spikes coming down are pretty nice. They have that nice jagged look to them, and the prickly bits on the arms, legs, and down the tail. They're pretty consistent with their design, and I'd say they're all in the right places. I wouldn't say move them in any way, and I'd say the proportions for it are pretty nice, and the prickly bits right on the chest are also pretty nice as well. Now, let's move on to his backstory. Now, the backstory is pretty nice, and it's kind of cool because Angry took the time to delve a little bit more into his backstory, and we find out that Tyros is a super weapon created by a race of what we'd assume are aliens from a planet called Calabraxos, who are fighting another race of aliens from Aspendia. I hope I'm saying both these the names of these planets right because the alien names I'm probably not gonna get right. But just as a little bonus, I do like the names of both the alien races. They are really alien looking, and I'd say props to that one. So what happens is that the species from Aspandia had started to gain the upper hand on those from Calabraxos, and as a result, the species from Calabraxos, their scientists created Tyros, and Tyros began to destroy the opposing species armada, and pretty much gave them the victory. However, for the Calabraxos, unfortunately, Tyros has what I would just consider the Frankenstein trope, in a way. You could call that a trope, where Tyros, because his only objective was to eliminate all threats, he starts attacking his own creators. However, to stop them, they put him into artificial hibernation. While unlike Elasmo Giga, who was put into hibernation because kinda not really out of his own volition, but because of landing somewhere, put him into hibernation because of the ice. Tyros was put directly into hibernation by his creators and was supposed to be thrown into the sun to die. However, the spacecraft's AI malfunctioned and Tyros landed on Earth. And that is where Tyros remains now. Personality wise is because I want to talk about the Frankenstein trope a little more. He doesn't feel any hatred for humanity. However, he does incur wrath upon humans because they do attack him, and because he's the ultimate weapon, Tyros is doing his job pretty well of beating up on things that are getting in his way. His personality isn't like a typical Frankenstein trope where it's like this monster has no mind, no true mind of its own until like the very end. Tyros is a monster, a weapon at heart, an axe like it, and very similar to, well, I'll get into in a sec. He does do his job in his universe well. Moving on to his height, length, and weight, he is 95 meters, making him smaller than Heisei Godzilla, bigger than Showa Godzilla. He's 150 meters in length, and he weighs 80,000 tons. So I'd say all those proportions are nicely done. For weapons, he has powerful solar fire, which for some people, when some people do say solar fire, they either mean plasma, or solar fire is like in their universe, fire. It's like sun's fire is different from normal fire, or it burns hotter, stuff like that. I'd assume that probably it's kind of like plasma, but it takes the appearance of fire when shot out. Of course, it can pretty much reduce most organic matter to smoldering piles of ash. So I'd assume it works like normal fire, but it has like plasma levels of heat. Strong claws, of course. A deadly tail with a thagamizer, which is at the end of the tail for damaging blows. Obviously, teeth and a bad attitude, as well as also he can fire up plumes of smoke from the ventilations on him, as well as he has ports that act as a shield in dire situations so he can escape. So overall, as a weapon and as a biological weapon, the creature was designed with having a lot of firepower in mind, having both ranged and melee combat, as well as a means of escape if ever need arose. However, based on what this monster did to that armada, being as they're ships and not organic material, I understand why they even needed something for him to escape, because he looks like he could have dealt with it quite easily. And lastly, just going over everything in general, it's a great design for the kind of story that you're trying to convey, as indeed you don't have a lot of stuff in terms of story going on, but I've seen both your other two kaiju designs. They have a very, well, I'd say kind of grimdark. Grimdark would be the best way I could describe it, but I'll have to go over that in another video. They do have a very detailed, monstrous look to them, where they're very, well, one of them's very mutated look like, and the other one's also kind of irradiated in its appearance. And I'd say Tyros, when compared to them, fits well. His backstory's nice. There's nothing that breaks your immersion with his story. It makes sense for him to act the way he does. It makes sense for him to be where he is. And the reasoning, you can you can have a suspension of disbelief from it. And in terms of what I was about to say, of course he fills a role similar to Godzilla. I mean, giant dinosaur, two-legged, breathing some kind of ray. Very similar. However, with Godzilla has his own character, and I mean, Godzilla does have a similar character in some cases, having no hatred for humanity, but attacking humanity because humanity provokes him. I mean, with a lot of monsters, when you think about it, there's very little variation that you can go with when it comes to creating new character traits for them, unless you really want to think about it and you want to diverge from the typical Daikaiju archetype. But I'd say for what he does and narratively how he reacts with the rest of the characters, Tyros does his job well. He's regularly proportioned, not too big, and of course can't be too small with kaiju, but technically you can. But he just fits perfectly within his story, and I would like to see more of this universe fleshed out, and I would like to see how his character is used and how it interacts with humans. Because if there's one thing I want to emphasize more in these videos coming up, is I want people to emphasize the kaiju human relationship. Mainly because people will say, oh, well, I like the monster movie for the monster scenes, but I don't really like the human aspects. Well, make the human parts more interesting, or make the humans interact more with the monsters in a more meaningful way. Like, do that. So I'd say the Angry Kaiju guy, you've got the talent. You're obviously a good artist. You've got a really creative story going on, and I think that you can do this quite nicely. And just go for it. You've got this. I wouldn't get a perfect score, of course. I'd say it's pretty well close to perfect. There's nothing that I'd say that you need to change, and I'd say that's all up to you. But I'd say keep up with your drawing, keep up with your story, and just be creative with it. And I would love to review more of what you do. But that's it, guys. Hope you're happy I'm back, and I'll see you in the next couple of videos. See ya.